And welcome back, and it's actually DMG taking their first loss with Venom Crest with the rookie roster, let's call it that way, just showing up and dominating. It was the domination. Correct?
Yeah, I mean it is. Oh, you're talking to
I understand. I understand, but I think we have a few seconds before we jump in. I believe the interview should be ready, and as soon as we can, we'll talk with Pooi, who's waiting on the other side. But there you go. Hey!
Hello.
It's quite dark in your room, kind of like the game itself, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like it this way.
Pooi, welcome back to begin with.
What are you saying?
But welcome back.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
But Pooi, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, we lost. I mean, I think it wasn't a great game for me, right? I mean, it's a bit weird with the lane swaps. Like, I think you get to lane a bit less, and also, like, for example, this game, you know, I mean, like, I don't know, you're just running around the map a lot, which makes it like less laning time, less kill pressure, etc. Yeah. So I feel about this map.
Because that's interesting. Lane swaps are not dominant, but they're pivotal right now for the meta. Or at least to be aware that they may appear. It looks like you're not comfortable with them right now. I know you're a duelist guy. You like to just brawl on the lane and all that. So if that happens again, that could be a weakness. How do you look into that one? Because I know we're openly talking about this, and all teams are like, yeah, please, Pooi, talk about it. But that's a situation.
Yeah, I mean,
we need to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it. I mean, right? Like, I mean, I think for sure, like this game as well. I mean, I had some moments that I think I could have abused harder. Like, I think I should have itemized differently also, for sure. Like I didn't itemize that much for the 1v1.
Like, starting with an item, can you talk to me about that? I like the item. The changes are
it's pretty strong, right? I mean, I think I should have just gone Iceborne Gauntlet and the and the like 850. What's that called? 850. It's like 850 or MR item, that one. And then you just stomp the lane, right? And then after that you're fine. Like, to be fair, I think the early game, like even the swap as well. Like, I mean, I have to say, like the swap wasn't bad. Like, you know, today it was just like, I don't know, like we entered a bit later, right? I mean, me included. Like, I'm not gonna put myself out of there. At least I'm happy, you know. Beatscar got his first game in NLC done, you know. So I mean, he played well, you know, really well. Like usually rookies are not like, you know, first game, it's like it can be a lot of nerves, so it looks good that, you know, good first performance for him.
So do you think, final question, do you think this is like, hey, throw it under the rug, we'll talk about this game later on and just focus on the next one, and it's all hands on deck, we need to scrap this one?
I mean, we have a new game today, you know, like of course I'm gonna win that one, like that's 100%, like no shot I'm going 0-2 like the first day, you know. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna shove it under the rug for a bit. We're for sure gonna review this and go through what I could have done differently afterwards. But I mean, I still have another game today to win, you know.
Hey, focus, you got this. It's time to lock in.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do like Rust and, you know, end up 0-2.
I knew it, you were gonna do it. Hey, Pooi, thank you so much for this one. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
I had to poke because we don't get these informations that often. When you know a player is not used to something that is quite important on the meta, you gotta know more. If you're not comfortable with lane swapping, that tells a lot.
I mean, I think we saw Bulldog Esports also struggle with that yesterday, and I feel like this time around it's such an easy angle, especially when you want to first pick the Cassandra as well. Not only is he strong in lane, but he's strong under lane swap scenarios, and seeing the team not wanting to lane swap themselves and instead getting lane swapped on. I mean, you saw they were expecting the lane swap themselves, so that already pre-swapped their bot lane towards the top side of the map. And it's kind of sad to see them not actually do it, especially with the Cassandra. But this is the truth, and this is the reality. We said how many teams are actually willing to play through the lane swap scenario. How many teams are willing and understanding of how to play lane swaps? I think in the day and age of 2025, when we've been through so many lane swaps in 2024, I think it's a subject to really be studied.
There you go. I love that duckling. That was a really good
No,
interaction.
but I think
I'm
Tom really hit the
kidding.
nail on the head
I
there,
agree.
right? It is the right analysis. I mean, you can't be sitting here in 2025 refusing to play lane swaps. There are things like there are champions. I'm not gonna learn this champion, or I'm not gonna be that good at it, or something. And you can, to points, accept that because you can ban one champ out and you won't be having to worry about it. But this is a whole play style. You can't just be refusing to learn this, and you could see it here, right? That really did hurt DMG, and DMG is a team that I have quite a few expectations for this split, and they certainly weren't made here on the first time around. So much still to learn for them. Obviously, the split is long, right? And I'm sure they'll get time to grow. But moving over to Venomcrest, I thought they had a brilliant debut. They showed off 4 new rookies, and each and every one of them showed positive signs of life here. So looks like they might have done it again. They might have ducked 4 rookies out of nowhere, and they could go far.
Now we're talking, that is so pivotal. Somehow they keep doing. They can't keep getting away with this. They just show up. Hey, we got 4 new members. What did I do? I don't know. Boom! They pop up in the middle of the rift. They are the ones doing like lane swapping that are comfortable, even though it was a green lane. But regardless of that, they show up. They're comfortable regardless of they show inside of the rift. They control the map. They know how to battle it. They itemize correctly. Like everything was there. Venomcrest rookies, like when you say that the experienced one in the team is Elijah, even though he was a rookie, like, I mean, you gotta give them credits.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
it's go on, Toby.
No, I just want to speak about the replay that's only your screenshot.
Yeah,
now
I mean,
because of
I
that.
wanted to make a point around it, but let's just see the fight here, right? I mean, this was one of the bad ones where you first get a reset on your Viego, and what do DMG do? They go back in on the Viego that is already getting the reset. That is certainly not a good sign. And with this Archon thing, the thing is, they can push so far and gain so much and lose so little. With this revive, or withdrawal as you call it, Ashram, as is the correct name. You can see here, right? 400 gold for the kill. What goes back to Bisco when he gets the trade kill? 100 gold. It is so easy to make your play worth it. Even if you get a 4 for 4 in that fight, you'll be laughing all the way to your bank if you're Venomcrest, because that Archon withdrawal is so strong. And not only that, every kill further or afterwards you get that revive gives you 40 more gold. It is such a based buff, man. And it is broken and so hard for teams to deal with.
I feel like the MG had a very good pick composition, especially with the Javan, and they didn't necessarily leverage that over in the early game to try and get the Javan ahead. You saw we even had like a more aggro build for the Javan. Everyone was squishy over on the side of Venomcrest. The second that Cataclysm lands with the EQ, you do a lot of damage as Jarvan, and then the Pooi and the Ezreal can finish people off. But I just never necessarily saw them group up to try and get those picks. Like literally, we saw one fight, I believe it was in front of the Baron after they had picked off Lori on the Rel, and it was like they tried to get a pick, and then they did, and then they overextended again, and then the gold came to slap them in the back. This is what happens. That's why I said Venomcrest played a very BLG-esque, because when you've got 4 carries on a team, if one is dead, you don't care. You still got 3 sources of damage coming through. Talking about sources of damage, that's exactly what I meant. Look at the entire line on the red side, which was Venomcrest. They all have pretty much really good damage meters. So whoever dies, someone's still gonna be there pumping the damage.
Yeah, what a start, right, for Venomcrest, playing a comp that I will say is not easy to execute. This wasn't just a simple front to back, we press our ultimates and then we win the game composition. They certainly had to show some skill to get this over the line. And just to kind of round off this Venomcrest rookies point, right? You know, back in the day when video games weren't doing too well, that came the Nintendo seal of approval. You knew it was always
you
good,
were
even if
alive
you
back
didn't
then?
know the game. I certainly wasn't, but I do know about its history, right? And I think this can kind of be applied to Venomcrest, because even if you don't know the rookies they're bringing in, they're getting the Venomcrest seal of approval, because I didn't know them, Venomcrest believe in them, and now so do I. And this, you know, Venomcrest seal of approval, split after split, when they continue to have success with this strategy, it just adds more credibility to them as an organization to pick the right rookies at the right time.
I agree with you, Duckling. It was
It was a really good
it was
point,
so
man.
fast. You replied to that one so
does he
fast, and you
know?
moved on. You didn't care. It was like you were speeding through that one. When you
None of
watched
us
it,
was
like a
alive back
champ.
then. It was
And
back
you
in the
kept
80s,
going.
mate. It was back in
Hey,
the
let's
80s.
keep
Even you
going.
were the one.
No, wait. What do you? No, I was. Come on. Wait. I didn't like write the code of League of Legends. Come down. I'm not that old. Let's talk with Elijah, who's waiting for us right now. The winner of this first game for them, Venomcrest as well. Elijah, can you hear me? Give me a sign.
Yeah, I can hear
There
you.
he is.
Yeah, no.
Welcome back. Look at that smile. That's a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
How do you feel? I have to ask this. How do you
Hmm?
feel as being the experienced one?
Ooh, I can. I think it's a fun experiment here at Venom Crest. I'm very thankful for the project. I think it's very interesting. I'm just looking for the best time. I'm just doing my own thing.
When you get that opportunity of getting into Venom Crest, you know they won in the previous split. They did so good. EMEA Masters was so close for Venom Crest, and you're like, wait, okay, 4 people. Who are they? So when you look into this team, how would you describe this team?
I think naturally chaotic, but I think it's a very interesting team for many reasons. I think individually we have a lot to offer. I think you will see us grow throughout the split, and I think for myself, I'm just gonna do what I do best, and I think that will show also throughout the games that I play.
Riddle me this. I'm a new viewer. I have no idea who Venom Crest is. I look into Venom Crest. I'm like, okay, they won the previous split. What's the strongest point of Venom Crest currently?
Currently, I think it's the atmosphere. I will say, I think the atmosphere of the players, I think the dedication as well. I really enjoy playing with the team. It's really fun. The guys are really wanting to do their best, so it really shows.
You look happy, and that's important.
Yeah,
you look extremely happy.
I'm feeling
you
good.
You still have 1 game ahead of you
versus
Rich Gang. What do you reckon is going to happen?
Can't say for sure. I have a lot of respect for Banderas. I think it's going to be a fun matchup to play. So I'll just see how it goes, but it can go both ways, I think.
Would you agree with this bet? And Bandera agrees, don't worry, we don't need this. Would you agree with this bet? If you win, if you solo bolo him, he has to pay you dinner, but if you lose the solo bolo, you have to pay him a dinner.
I mean, if we meet up sometime IRL, why not?
Why not? I like that. I'm going to take this into account, and I want to make a vlog, by the way, just telling you.
Sure, I'm done.
Thank you so much. Best of luck, and go rest a little bit. We have to move on with the show, and I'll see you soon, okay?
I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
What
He's
a
happy individual.
What a nice, good League of Legends player, well spoken, and did you know he's the rookie of the split last split and Danish as well? Like, surely there's not a coincidence there, right? That's actually
what
such
is
a crazy
this?
fact.
Give me just 1 second. Okay, Ruddy versus Kaos. We move on with the show. We don't care about that. We move on. So we finally have a leader on the board. He's going to be playing, and Yamato can be coaching, and that's how things are intended.
Yep. And also, there's 3 Danish players in Chaos. So
come on,
take it away. Take it away.
Actually,
exactly.
I'm not gonna start with that this time around. I will quickly.
Thank you, production.
We're right into
Thank
draft.
you so much.
Okay,
Production.
wow, okay, that one fast though. Good to see leader back in the mid lane. Worth mentioning, Chaos have a substitution here in mid lane for game number 1. JJ, second place finish with Lungfist Lightside back in the day in the NLC Division 2. Will be playing for Chaos just 1 game today, so be aware of that. It is not Suhi in the mid lane yet. Moving on to the draft though, hopefully no more Orns into Broms. If you're a Ruddy sec here, that's what we are hoping for. But the Ash ban speaks up, very traditional AD carry bans in the current meta, banning out the utility AD carries.
Dude, I love this. Irelia ban towards leaders mid lane. I mean, he's known for playing these types of champions. Now, the interesting part is I want to see what Perkz brings over in the top lane. The fact that we have leader in ERLs, we know he's playing more of the aggressive style mid laners, is very exciting, but also Perkz has made a whole new lane swap again, and this time around he's gonna be landing towards the top side of the map. He's playing against Turtle, who is the only Brazilian player, if I'm not wrong, that we've ever had over in the NLC, and it's also exciting because we have so many different players from so many different continents actually in the NLC right now, and here we go. Vamos Brazil.
Yeah.
You got it.
She did?
It's an easy word, man.
Yeah.
It's an easy word. It's fine.
No, I think. Skarner, first time making it through.
Not banned.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of crazy, but I do like what Chaos have done here, though, right? Banning out a few of these leader chains, but that can also be swapped to Perkz in the top lane now that you have, a former mid laner up in the top lane, and MSI winning AD carry and a world finalist AD carry, but also an NLC winner in that mid lane role, right? So Turtle on his NLC debut, what would we like in here? NLC debuts all across the board, is worth mentioning for Chaos. The organization is having their first game. Every player on this lineup is having their first game. And you know who they're going up against? The Ruddy sec. I know they're sweating in their boots right now. I know this is who they want to beat, as I have talked with them, right? And starting off the draft with the Maokai Jinx, it's safe, it's standard, it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like front to back. You've got the Maokai for pretty good engage and disengages and pretty good support next
He
to
kind of
Jinx.
has to, right?
Would be
Yes,
awesome
he has
as well.
to.
The Draven
He has to.
Slam from Hams. His
He has
first
arrived.
competitive day in League of Legends is today. First one was a loss. Second one slamming in the Draven into the Jinx. Now, again, a pretty strong support right next to Jinx to try and keep her safe. I feel like a protected Jinx composition is very mandatory from Kaos right here. Everything on that Jinx basket. And let's see what... I'm assuming it's going to be a mirror on the mid lane right here. Possibly a control mage again. Pooi this time around for JJ.
Okay, man. Go on, Asha. You look like someone who wants to speak something.
I love the Draven obviously, but
Yeah.
that Jinx is going to suffer so much. It's not an easy matchup. So
I mean-
not only have to protect her, you also have to make sure that gold is being funneled into her. Ooh, Draven, if he has like 2 kills, it's gonna be danger. It's gonna be danger. Renata getting out. What else do you
It's gonna
pick?
be rough, right? All of a sudden, a lot of pressure now for Chaos not to allow this Draven to snowball ahead. Hums might not have much competitive experience, but having looked at their scrims, he's certainly able to carry games on this Ruddy Sack roster if put in the position to do so. As the band continue to go through this support pool, really getting trimmed. I don't think Hosland will be trembling in his boots about that, though. With this many years of experience in his baggage, right? There's certainly a lot of champs that he has played competitively before. So let's see if they continue to trim it out. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there are still some strong meta support that hasn't been banned, but no, instead, the silence will be the priority as... Okay.
I like the Brompan right here coming through from the Ruddy Sack because traditionally you see hard engaged melee supports paired up with Draven, and Brom is an absolute killer in this lane, especially any melee support whatsoever. So I do like the Bromban right here from the side of Ruddy Sack. They have learned. Now is the time if they want to slam something like an Ornn as well. Feel free to go for it.
Okay.
The Bard as well.
Nah, fair play, man. That's big respect, right? You have to really look into Rud. So he is a big Bard player, and they did mention to me when I talked to them, he could whip it out the split. But to ban it as well, that is a sign of respect. And fair play to Ruddy Sack. They aren't messing around here, right? That really shows that they have taken this seriously, and I have high respect for that. As now the jungle comes through, the Wukong has been seen a lot in competitive recently. Not found much success in the NLC today. I mean, has had some good games, but also some games where the Wukong has been really quiet. Back onto Ruddy Sack now as they look to round out their roster.
And that also tells us the story about where the Maokai is going as well. It's going to be a bot lane Maokai since the Wukong has been locked in for Taxfig right there. The Rel coming through together with the Draven or the Nautilus either. Pretty good combo anyway. Yeah. And now is the time that we've been looking for. What does Perks blind pick for that top lane? Ambessa taken away. Kasante taken away. Gnar was the last ban on that first game that they played against Perks over in that top lane.
Yes, I'm happy with this, right? A real top lane champ, not flexing anything this time around. Perks will be getting his foot in the water now.
A real top lane champ for a real top lane.
No, I like this. I want to see what he can do on those top lane champs. Something that he hasn't played before in the AD carry or mid lane position. Rod, so what do you lock in now to try and keep your AD carry safe? Huge pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah. Wait,
but
it's a Maokai top lane.
Yeah,
we haven't
versus
seen,
Gnar.
We haven't seen a Maokai top lane in tier 1 in so long. But you know what? Dakling was saying, hey, you know what? In my team, I've seen so many teams pick Maokai top lane into my team. And it makes sense. So I can't wait to see what Maokai top lane can do here. I love what Kaos have. Very traditional, front to back, major engage tools, major disengage tools for Kaos. A lot of scaling on the side. And for Ruddy Sack, they've got so many ways of picking people off. Perks has a chance to do something with the Gnar in the top lane, pressuring onto the Maokai, and of course Nautilus Draven, a very scary early game duo.
This is it. This is Perk's debut on the top lane, and we get to see Ruddy as well at full power. For Kaos, they want to enter on the right foot, but imagine this. If Kaos takes this win, not only it's a big one for them, especially on the group stage, but also they put Ruddy on an 0-2, and everybody was looking at Ruddy to be 2-0 at the beginning of this day.
Yeah.
Duckling, tell me why and who's gonna win.
This is a very short one, right? Because I know, having talked to Kaos, that what they look most forward to in the NLC was playing these big teams. And with the way the seeding could go, who knows if they get another shot, right? They have to hit the ground running here if they want to fulfill what they came into the NLC to do. This is what the players have waited for. They have wanted this game to come today. They have wanted to play against the big teams, and this is potentially their only chance to split. They're under a heap of pressure, as I think Ruddy have got a good draft to set Hums up to carry the game, and I think they're going to be able to play through it. But if Kaos pull this through, it will be a miracle upset, and I know the players will be proud and have that achievement for the rest of their life. So I'm hopeful for them, but I think Ruddy have got it in the draft here. I'm all in on Ruddy Sack.
Okay, trouble.
I'm all in on Ruddy Sack as well. I think
There
this
you go.
draft is much more structured. It's got a lot of avenues for split push, for engage, disengage, picks, early game potential, as well as scaling. I think it's a very well-rounded draft versus Kaos, who also want to play very traditional front to back. But I feel like Ruddy Sack do have the experience behind those compositions a little bit more.
Well, 2-0 on this, but can they get their first win on this second day for Ruddy, or will Kaos bring in their first win and put Ruddy on an 0-2 today? Tossing it to two casters who are waiting, middle cut, and Jamada, take it away.
Thank you very much, Archram, as we are going to be jumping into our third game of the day very shortly. Jamada, I just want to put it to you. Kaos, they leave the Humza Draven open. Feels a little bit disrespectful in my eyes, I'm not going to lie.
Did we do our homework? It's like, you know, if you've done any modicum of research on Humza, and hell, if you saw the debates between him and his friend Sancho, there's a whole big conglomerate of streamers. Humza on Draven, challenger.
Yeah.
Humza off Draven, hard stuck low master. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. And I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
And I feel like we see this every time we have a quote-unquote one trick coming into the league where there's just like one champion they're really good at. There's always a team early on that'll go, what's the worst that could happen?
Leave it open.
It never well.
Now, the counterpoint is potentially a lane swap, but you know,
30 seconds until minions
kind of
spawn.
we'll see how it plays out. I've got to say, Turtle, never seen you before. Like the hair, mate. With you and I might get on. Either way, even after doing, I've just never seen a picture of Turtle. That's all. Ruddy Sack, if they're allowed to regular lane and Humza is actually playing Draven in a 2v2 lane, this might be one of the biggest slights I think I've seen
Minions have spawned.
in terms of respect to a player on an individual level. Because again, I don't know how else to say it. He is a one trick.
Yeah.
Right. He's branched out. Don't get me wrong. And if you've been watching Ruddy Sack scrims and you've been keeping up, he's his Corki is something that he obviously leans on a lot. The Ezreal is the other pick too. But he's the Draven guy. You know, it is just his thing. They're gonna get a late invade going, so it's even gonna be a map split, which with a Skarner, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of gone unspoken. First time that Skarner's not been banned in the NLC this split.
Yeah, I'm not fully sold. Now, Taxvig is here with Smite. He's gonna
not there.
Wall, but
It's
he's
not
gonna
there,
see
bro.
Jankos. So he'll secure this. Jankos wants it to reset, but he's not gonna be able to get it to. So that'll go over to Kaos. So it's not gonna be a true map split. Taxvig kind of breaks it open a little bit. But still, you can already see like the immediate early threat, right? As hustling. Very close to connecting. I've seen weird and Nautilus connect, right? That connects, it's a flash blown. It's one of those kind of things. But with Jankos being pushed out, it does mean there's a little less pressure on Ardafla and Rutzo.
So, if we are to play devil's advocate, Jamada,
Yeah.
I'm
listening.
gonna. I don't even feel like it's being charitable. I feel like Kaos know that Humza is a bit of a Draven player, and
I mean, how can you not?
How can you not?
Yeah.
And so I think the thought process would have been going into this game, we're going to leave the Draven open on the basis that our composition, what we can draft around it, is going to be able to win out. Do we feel like that's the case?
No. Look, I actually do, you know, player names removed and such. I do quite like their draft. I think it's a very, very solid front to back. You know, a decent amount of non-committal engage between Maokai, between Leona, and of course, Taxvig on the Wukong. Great committal engage. Speaking of committal, Jankos, a little bit short on the traversal there, so won't find connection. Won't see chain CC, but again, just the pressure, right? The immediate kind of just 4 or 5 camps Jankos into bot lane. You know where they want to butter their bread this game. As more poke. It's going to feel like this all lane. And Jankos, I mean, if he didn't have nothing to farm on the bottom side, might have made his way to the top side. Leader has the back of Jankos, so he's not too scared to step up there.
I think the sort of situation that we're seeing around bot lane is sort of the other side of the coin that people don't necessarily associate with Draven all that much. It's like, yeah, you can go absolutely crazy all in at level 2 and just try and kill people. As speaking about all ins, we've got kind of one in the mid lane, kind of one in the jungle there. Kaos not really winning out on either of them, as Taxvig and JJ both going to be forced to reset.
It seems like Taxvig lost that smite on that chicken camp, so pretty unlucky for him. Jankos happy to walk away with that skull, and then all of the camps top to bot, by the way. So very solid bit of pathing for him to do. He's going to take the reset first, get the gold in, right? Get that gold spent, and then look to clear it out very quickly, no doubt. Just continuing to likely path down to wherever this Draven goes, wherever they set up lanes. Expect Jankos to be around Hamza. And once you start to kind of hit that somewhat break point of maybe 250, 300 stacks, you start to think about coming down to cash in.
Yeah.
On that Draven passive, unless, of course, they just straight up find that 2v2. Because I think there's a bit of a misconception sometimes about, you know, Draven passive. Draven players in general. It's a bit of a stigma, honestly. Which, is it a stigma if it's kind of, you know, if the accuracy rate is kind of high, at what point does it not become a stigma? But, you know, trying to force the plays early, get kills, get the snowball going. Honestly, Draven passive, a little bit scarier if you stack it up first, wait till like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, get that big cash in, and you come back with an already completed item with that bonus gold. That feels way scarier than, you know, picking up an early kill.
JJ getting forced out again in the mid lane, doesn't have that teleport, and there's no way that he can remain. Leader just forcing himself up, delaying the base as much as possible, and I think across the map we're really seeing kind of, I think, what a lot of people expected from this Ruddy roster. A bit of a diff everywhere you're looking.
Yeah, very strong so far. As just a look at the 1v1 and how Leader got this advantage. No stun on the gravity well, but you can see how much damage. You know, mage versus mage, especially a mage like Pooi early on, doesn't have a lot of damage as perks. He's gonna flash out. He's fine.
Yeah. Trading a bit of damage back down onto Taxvig. That's the first real aggressive maneuver that we've seen from either of these teams that has resulted in anything meaningful. Jankos going to be able to take away these Void Grobs, and because of the amount of control that Hamza and Hustlin have of that bot lane, Taxvig's positioning on the map as well, a response in the form of an early Drake take doesn't seem that it's on the cards for Kaos.
No, it does not indeed. And as a matter of fact, whilst Jankos is going for that invade up there, I'm sure if we could maybe pan to it, Hamza and Hustlin are actually starting up the dragon already. As there you go, picture in picture. Doing it without Jankos. Don't even need a jungler. They've got so much pressure. They can afford to just do it. Hamza can go back to catch that wave now, so it's not even that much missed. And Jankos gets a bunch of tempo and an extra skull. So all of these small incremental wins for Ruddy Sack right now. Looks pretty nice. Kaos on the other side. Not really much to talk about, right? So many reactive and scaling lanes. They are to a point a bit of a passenger for the first 15-ish minutes or so. And it's about when they feel like they're going to have the confidence to step up.
Yeah, it's all well and good being a passenger up to a certain point, but you've got to get in the driver's seat eventually. Issue being that if you're this far behind and it continues to move in this direction, then you're not really able to put your pedal to the metal once you get in that driver's seat.
Yeah, that's the big problem. If you lose too much early on with this kind of composition, it doesn't really become a question of when do you play, but it's how. Right?
Yeah.
And if you end up with, you know, Victor being really accelerated, or God forbid, remember, the longer Draven doesn't cash in, right? The bigger the eventual cash in does kind of become. And as such, the more threat you have to put towards him to make sure he doesn't get that cash in.
Yeah, well, already
200
on
stacks now.
200, yeah. Got to remember as well, that is going to be added onto Humza's ultimate, so when he throws that one out, we've got the execution threshold, and we've got an attempt at a play on Perks in the top lane, doesn't have the flash. Taxig follows him forward, the Nard doesn't go Mega in time, and despite all of the bad things happening across the map for Kaos, they're the ones who strike first blood.
Yeah, but I mean, again, immediate response from the Ruddy Sack in this game, a lot sharper comparatively to their opening game of the day, entirely forcing off this Jinx from the wave, and this is just free plates for the Draven. And a massive lead is going to start to grow off this. It's already at 500. Individual plates going to push that to just under 8. Or will push it to 8, actually. He was at 6 before. Pardon me. So, big bit of XP and gold missed out here, and Draven's lead is going to continue to grow. It's almost a full level up, actually, as well. When you take a look at the XP bars on either side, it's a very scary Draven starting to stack up here.
Leader moving over, Taxig going to be caught out in his own jungle, hit by the Impale, the Chaos Storm going to get dropped down, and Ruddy reply in the kill department, get themselves on the board, and bring it up to a 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes.
Yeah, so much pressure, generally. And I mean, if Jankos didn't have to use his ult there, that could just be a straight up turnaround dive into the bot lane, but just taking their time with this one, right? A complete dismantling of this bottom lane, a 30 CS lead at 10 minutes. And the worst part about this really is, for me, what do you do?
Yeah.
Realistically, as Chaos, where can you go? You lane swap, cool, well, you know, Humza just kind of gets to hit the wave for free. And hit the tower for free with Maokai doing their best to clear it. And otherwise, you can't, there's no other valid option. So,
It's just been a
very hard.
It's been a very sort of complete domination so far through the early game. Like, the lanes have all just been winning for Ruddy Sack, and I think Jankos has sort of enabled that, but has also been enabled by that to go aggressive, get into the jungle of Taxig, force these laners back, force people away. And I think it's a pretty good sign for a team when you can win, when you can build advantages by seemingly doing very little.
Yeah, and there's not really much for Ruddy Sack to do to get these incremental leads, just because of the way that the champions interact with one another, you know? It's so difficult for champions like Jinx, for champions like Pooi to really have a lot of impact unless the other team doesn't have these powerful picks like Skarner.
Yeah.
Like frontliners like Nautilus. It's very, very hard to play into. You can't really be proactive. You have to try and catch the Ruddy Sack in the action, you know? And hope that they misstep and can be punished, like right now.
Yeah.
Trying their best. But Humza and Hustling not falling for it. Kind of just understanding, hey, Jankos isn't here. There's a good chance that the Wukong's down on the bottom side. Not selling the bag at all, and looks like the wave will also start to bounce back out now too, because of the control, rather the cannon wave. They should be okay. As Jankos also returns to the bottom side.
Yeah. Definitely feels like Regan's had a conversation with the lads in the Discord call.
Yeah,
sorted them out a little bit.
Too, I'm sure.
Turtle taking a
shout out. He is taking more damage. He's Maokai though.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, he's fine. Shout out to Regan and the Ruddy Sack. They are doing a in-person event. I'm sure that is a lot of fun for the Red Bull Gaming Sphere. As hello.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. In London.
Yeah, Jake messaged me going like, "Oh, do you want to come to this?" And I'm like, "Sorry, I'm kind of busy, I'm afraid."
Yeah, would love to be there.
Oh no, absolutely. Like those, I went to the one for the spring final, went to the one for the summer final last year. Obviously, the results not favouring Ruddy on either of those occasions, but they were an absolute blast and sort of thing that I hope to see more from them, but also more from other orgs.
Yeah.
I think one of the sort of defining traits of the NLC is the sort of regional pride that exists between different countries and different regions that make up our region. I'm sure that Duckling would love to go along to a PC cafe in Copenhagen and just be very loud and obnoxious.
Yep. Sounds like something you would love quite a bit.
Oh, hold on, hold on!
Perks!
Oh no! What? No!
Oh, brother.
I'm telling you, man, the level of the NLC, like MSI champions, they find it difficult to adjust to.
Can't underestimate the NLC players, man. They'll do it to you. Misflash, of course, from Perks, but being in that position, very, very risky as leader just continues to absolutely dominate this mid lane matchup.
Look at the CS. Look
yeah,
at the
so
CS.
much CS. He might even get the interrupt on that base too, and he will. Very rough. Very, very, very rough indeed. No teleport on JJ either. So leader looks like he's just going to take the reset. Maybe.
Yeah.
Thinking about
moving over to sort of pick up the wave, but that's going to give Humza the opportunity to get a decent shove on this bottom lane, and it's the sort of push and pull. You go to answer at efficiency a hole in one part of the map, and that just opens up a fresh new wound that I'm not sure that Kaos can bandage over. First tower going in favour of Humza. This Draven yet to cash in, but still pretty damn accelerated.
That's the big worry, right? And you know, I'd almost forgotten about the part of the passive you mentioned earlier. The more stacks, of course, Draven has, it's just flat damage added to the ultimate as an execution. So if this continues to go on, I mean, it almost becomes a matter of when Humza cashes in, so long as he can keep himself positioned safely. As we look at Perks' overconfidence, perhaps forgetting what.
Notch on the queue from no, right, okay, and
know
then
what?
that happened.
In his defense, let me. Oh no, I mean, I don't know if there's enough delay. I guess if Perks is streaming his POV, I need to see where his cursor was when he flashed, because you know what I mean. Like if I feel like he's been a bit hard done by in that wall. I've flashed that wall in that exact spot before. It's not an easy wall to flash at times. But I do feel like he's a little bit hard done by, but still, solo killed by Turtle on Maokai. I'm sure there was some great banner in the comms about that, as maybe not so much great banner about Husband's pick.
Yeah, he is not enjoying this one. Kill for Ardafla, and whilst the Gold League continues to build, so definitely fighting back.
Yeah, definitely not afraid to, you know, poke their head into windows where maybe they feel like Ruddy Sack disrespecting a little hard here. Perks could be disrespecting again, as he's in between Turtle and Taxvig, sort of at a weird angle. But they're not super sold. They're not super sold on going in without the ultimates, without maybe full information about where all of the members of Ruddy Sack are, though they are certainly very happy to look onto leader.
Yeah, jumping on top of him, dropping the sit, but he's turned around 1v3s like this before, not quite able to reach Kafler. Instead, gonna turn his focus onto JJ.
One more spell.
Just doesn't look, got the damage, mate. Locked up by dodging away from him. He spells off that queue, running for the hill.
More movement speed.
Towards the enemy base.
Nope.
You cannot adapt, but that is the personnel from Kaos and Dak inside hustling. Not quite able to on that. Taxfit gets taken down.
Yep, and there's the cash in. I'm sure we'll get that look up very, very soon in a replay. That's a lot of gold. He's up 1.8k on Ardafla, and he has 2 kills, mind you. 2 kills, and the kill he just got on leader was a shutdown. So much gold in Humza's back pocket. I'm sure he's about to base and probably pick up a full second item.
Chaos scrapping up with Ruddy Sack as Turtle was fighting up against Perks there, despite the whoopsie that we saw a little bit earlier. Perks still up on the gold, a lot of that due to these towers, as I think we're going to have a little bit of a look at this kill from Hamza.
Oh, just unnecessary from Taxvig. Doesn't need to go in there. And immediately punished by Jankos, and out of this replay into another fight.
Well, potential collapse onto leader. He's going to get bursted down. JJ with the kill, and Kaos around this drop. Enemy mid laner looking for one more support. That's a 2-for-0 fight so far, but Rutzo's going to get taken down. Here comes Perks going meg, but still going to be able to find a prize. That one don't over to the laner, who is building that lead even more.
Very good fight for Ruddy. They should be able to pick up the dragon as well. So that's the third dragon, Infernal as well, is what we're working with. Our third game of the night. I mean, more damage for the carries of Ruddy Sack. I don't think they're going to be complaining about that one, given how much we've already seen them put out. Of course, the leader a little bit unsure how he ended up in that position.
Yeah.
It's the nature sometimes of replays come out of a replay. Some shenanigans are going on. They're trying to chase down Hamza. He's got a little bit too much movement speed from the Blood Rush.
You boy?
Very speedy indeed. As
Perks, I reckon he wins that.
Yeah.
4-level difference. Yeah, that's gonna go for you. Turtle now gonna get locked down, but Perks having burnt a lot of those cooldowns to take down the Wukong. Potentially not in the best position as the collapses started to come through from Kaos. I mean, definitely a lot easier to lock down, but good flash gets away from the solar flare, and Perks escapes with his life.
Yeah, keeps his life, loses his flash. Would like to have that one, you know, against the immobile backline of Jinx and Pooi, but just again a little bit. I mean, this is the thing with Perks; he's always been a confident player, right? And doesn't really matter what era of Perks, even in the rosters where, you know, they weren't necessarily doing too well. Perks always seemed to be one of the shining lights in them throughout that slightly rough period, as the rocket isn't going to steal Atacon. And again, we do get, of course, Voracious buff. EGA. And you know, I was speaking, I mean, I don't know, this conflict of interest bringing up this conversation, because I will nominate as a part owner of the Ruddy Sack, but was speaking with Dom about this buff, and I mean, I don't know how they ever balance this. Ever. Between pro play and solo queue, because if you're unaware, obviously it seems like in solo queue it's very rare that you actually end up with this GA buff. It's maybe 1 in 5 games. I think it's actually a little bit less. I think they released the stats on what it is, but in pro play, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it not be the GA buff.
Yeah, 1 in 5
Voracious
games,
buff. So
just get a free team fight.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how they end up balancing it without pretty much just doing a separate patch, and they've always been very, very averse to doing separate patch. Yeah, balanced team. So, Freak, Froxen, I don't envy you, and the rest of the dev team. Good luck getting this one in shape. As the Herald's going to charge on the bottom side, Perks goes in.
Yeah, he's looking for it, hustling, flashing to try and get a hook, but Ruddy Sack, they haven't really been able to gain purchase onto too many members of Chaos. Saying that, Turtle gets pulled in by the Impale, and he's going to get taken out by Hamza. Relatively low HP bars on Ruddy, but with that buff, they could just keep going forward to their heart's content. The top laner, the jungler, down for Chaos, and Ruddy Sack are not done. Leader gonna get stunned, gonna get taken out, sent back to his fountain as Perks is going forward on low HP. Hamza is destroying people with the axes. All of them are dead. All of them are dead, Giovanna. Ruddy Sack are gonna end it right here, right now.
Off Draven, he's a little bit special. On Draven, he's Hum Summer. The Ruddy Sack will claim their first win of the NLC. Though, as I say that, Taxvig might manage to kill off Hamza's G8. He's not going to do it. Not going to be able to do it middle court. And they'll end 1-1 on the day. And it's a pretty good look with their full roster in. Of course, Chaos, one of the rosters that people kind of expected not to do super well, right? But still, a very good recovery after losing earlier on in the day, of course, not quite at full manpower.
Yeah. And as much damage as Hamza was doing towards the end there with the Draven, Leader put on an absolute clinic this game. The number of times JJ was just getting forced out of lane, felt like he couldn't really do anything, and that's the power of having your full roster. All of the guys that you want to play.
All of the guys that you want to play, right? Yeah, I don't know what to say. The other thing, of course, was just how Draven. It's like, if anything, it's actually the one thing you have to ban against this team, just to make sure he's not on it and he's off comfort, right? That aside, Skarner. We gave over Skarner and we gave over Draven at the same time. Kind of crazy. But the Ruddy side didn't mind, and they got all the freedom in the world to play exactly how they wanted to play. As again, finishing this first week here 1-1.
Yeah, so recovery, and you know what? 100% win rate with the full roster. We'll pretend that game 1 didn't happen. We are going to be jumping to a short break before the analyst desk break down what happened in that one and set us up for the penultimate game of the evening.